What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Poet Skinny. I'm here with my review of Shark Tank Season 4, Episode 10. Really cool episode. My girl Barbara was back. Y'all know I love Barbara, so I was excited right off the bat. The first person to come into the tank was this chick named Jackie Courtney, and her company was Nearly Newlyweds, and she was looking for $35K for 10%. And she had a website that allowed, basically they sold used wedding dresses. But they kind of allowed people who wanted a more expensive dress and didn't have the money to, go to their site and buy it. And they also had a cool buyback feature, which they kind of would buy it back for like half price. So like the example she had, it was $11,000 dress. They were selling it for $3,800, and they would give you $1,900, if you sold it back to them. So actually a pretty cool concept. Like Robert kind of said how, back in the day that he didn't have a lot of money, but, him and his wife bought a cheap wedding dress, but they kept it forever. So he kind of had an issue because he thought women, really wanted to hold on to the wedding dresses. So a couple people had issues about that. The lady seemed real smart, real intelligent, good-looking lady. You could tell that she had a PR background, and she'd got a lot of free press, and she was getting featured in a lot of different magazines and whatnot. Mark thought that this was an issue because once that ran out, how was she going to get customers? But in the end, everybody went out except for Kevin. And Kevin told her he'd give her the $35K for 40%. And I thought this was crazy. But she declined the offer. But then when I thought about it, I thought she seemed real intelligent. She seemed like she was driven. She seemed like a real hustler and real smart lady. And I figure she'll make it either way. So it probably, once I thought about it, I said, yeah, it's probably good she turned Kevin's offer down. I would have liked to see her maybe, go. Kevin said no, he wouldn't budge on the equity. I would have thought, maybe she threw out a figure, maybe he would have. But, I love Kevin, I love Mr. Wonderful, but, and I love when he makes deals, but she declined it, and that was probably the best thing at the end of the day. So, let me know what y'all think about that. The next two that were in was these two guys that as soon as they walked in, I was like, gay, but I don't know if they were. One dude was kind of dressed like Popeye, and the other dude looked like a 80s hair band rocker. But they basically had a ship. It was called Corks Away. They had a ship that did wine cruises and all these other little cruises. And, it was about 12 people max, and you go on this whatever little boat they had, and you drink wine. And, it seemed like a very cool concept. I was thinking about it. I was like, that'd be something cool to do with your old lady, because it wasn't like a booze cruise where there's 100 drunk people, which would be fun too. But, it was a little, just a little ship, and you go have a little wine and blah, blah, blah. And they'd actually made like, what'd I write it down? I think they had made like a $240,000 in the past year or something. Like they were making good money. The problem was their business plan sucked. Like they wanted to, like phase 2, they wanted to implement like a franchise program where they bought a boat. They would sell people who wanted to do their business. They would sell them a $35,000 boat and their business package for $175,000, which made absolutely no sense. Like, so you're saying that your business plan is worth like $140,000? I mean, it's a simple business plan. You sail around, you serve people drinks. I mean, what idiot would pay that much? And then they wanted to. The phase 3, they said they wanted the little hors d'oeuvres or whatever they were giving you when you're drinking, which no one cared about anyway. You're there to drink, but they wanted to sell those to stores or something. And then the final thing that just put all the sharks over the edge was these dudes said they wanted to set up an indoor ride in Vegas. You're asking for $105,000 for 20% of a business. And you got these crazy ideas. Like there was nothing investable. You know what I'm saying? For the Sharks, there's nothing that says, oh, this is how you're going to get my money back. Like, this is another example of people coming to the Shark Tank with a business that's doing well. They're making a good living. These two dudes get to hang out and sail around and drink and party, and they're making 120 grand a year a piece, you know? After expenses, okay, 90 grand a year maybe. 80, 90 grand a year. You're good, that's cool. You know, maybe save some money, get another boat. But it's not an investable business. They had just had too many ideas that were too far-fetched, so they didn't get a deal, needless to say. I thought it was cool, though, that Kevin just kept drinking that wine. Like, you can tell that Kevin's the type when he's alone, he opens one of them $1,000 bottle of wine and probably just drinks till he's hammered, gets blitzed. Which everybody was like, Kevin, you're so much cooler when you're drunk. So anyway, they didn't get a deal. The next two guys had this company called Thai Try, and they were basically the Netflix for ties. Yeah. I don't wear a lot of ties, so I immediately was like, no. And then when I did wear ties, seeing as I'm poor, I just went down and paid like, $5 for one at the Walmart. These guys were lawyers, and they're like, I wear so many ties, But I'm like, if you're really that rich, you should be able to afford ties. You don't need to rent them through Netflix. It's not like a movie that you see it once and you're done. It's a tie. But I mean, I guess it's $16 a month. They said you can, 2 ties at a time. I guess it could be cool for somebody. But the problem was, and they were looking for $100K for 25%. Crazy valuation. They had just started the company. They had 110 subscribers. That's nothing. And they had another company that had got a little PR burst. So they had some people interested. But Mark said it again. Once that's gone, where are you? That's one thing I gotta say about Mark Cuban. That dude is sharp. He's dead on. He sees any BS you bring, Mark's gonna see through it. And they were, not to down the dudes, but they were just bad presenters. They didn't come in, and present right. I mean, if you got a bad idea and you present okay, maybe. But they didn't present right. And Damon mentioned one thing. He was like, there was no passion for fashion in your presentation. So he was out, and when he said that, everybody was like, yeah, that makes sense. Kevin, just being Kevin, said he'd give him $50K, but another shark would have to give him the other half, and they would have to come up with the evaluation. But he knew nobody was going to go for it. He was just doing it just to toy with them. And of course, they got no deal. But, if that seems like something's cool for you, you can probably Google Thai Try and, sign up. And then there'll be 111 subscribers. Okay. Finally, the last one was this dude, Major Robert Dyer, Marine Corps, active duty. He had this company called Ruck Pack, Ruck Pack, and it was him and 16 other Marine families, or Marines and families, whatever. And it was basically a kind of a nutritious energy shot. Everybody's trying to do the energy shots because there's a lot of money there. I think the space is getting, it's just getting saturated because everybody's trying to do it. But this dude, he seemed very knowledgeable, seemed like a dude that was on it. Had lots of sales. They said he had first order, he got 15,000 and it sold out in a month and a half. The reason he needed money was because he couldn't keep up with the inventory. The sharks like that. When you need money because you got orders coming and can't keep up, they like that. He was looking for 75K for 10%. In the end, he ended up doing a deal with Kevin and Robert for 150K for 20%. Because Kevin said he was just going to give him, he was like, 75K, 10%, I got you, let's go. And then Robert was like, well, you're going to need more money to get more inventory if the demand's that high. Me and Kevin will team up, 150K for 20%. And they made the deal. My only issue is this guy, Major Dyer, he owned 43% of the business. His wife owned 2%. So, excuse me. So that's like 45%. And then there's still, 14 other people or whatever? Who... It just seems like no one's making no money. And so now that's 60% gone once you pull the sharks in. These other people just seem like they're getting screwed. I just wonder how passionate they're going to be about the business when 16 people have to split 40%. Anyway, that was Shark Tank this week. It was really cool. It does seem though that the sharks aren't getting as good of people in the tank as they used to. Used to be each week you get, at least 2, sometimes 3 deals. You might have one weird person you didn't get a deal, but you're getting a lot of deals. And people were coming in with ideals, not asking for so much money. But now, like, everybody's coming in asking for 100K, 75K. It just seems like the quality of it is waning a bit. Still my favorite show on TV, hands down. Still love it. I tell you, every Friday I'm riding around yelling, Shark Tank's back. Shark Tank's back. Anyway, but I hope they pick it up. So I'm Poet Skinny. This is my review. Comment, let you know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll let y'all later.